Hey everybody, it's Matt Shu from Upright Health, and today we're going to be talking about FAI, and more specifically FAI and flexibility. So we had an FAI fixer, a user of our FAI Fix program, ask us this really great question. He said, I have FAI on one side. How come the side that I have FAI on is more flexible than the other side? And this is a great question. We're going to dive into it, and we're going to talk about what you can take from this weird phenomenon and how you can help yourself get rid of your hip pain even if you have FAI on one side, the other side, or both sides. All right, so let's get something out of the way first. This is not the only time we've received this email about somebody being more flexible on their FAI side versus the other side. So there's something you have to ask yourself about the bone shapes of FAI, which we've talked about a million times before, but I'm going to make you think about it again. If you can be more flexible on your FAI side than on your non-FAI bone shape side, then does the bone shape itself actually matter? If the bone shape matters and it's supposed to stop your range of motion, why are there gymnasts who are super flexible in all directions who have FAI bone shapes? Shouldn't those bone shapes stop them? What's going on here? Something doesn't add up. Are you done thinking? Well, then let me give you a really cool answer. The answer is that bone shapes have nothing to do with range of motion problems. Study after study has shown that hip impingement bone shapes, whether it's cam impingement, pincer, or mixed, have absolutely nothing to do with your range of motion and don't seem to add up to symptoms at all. People have the bone shapes, no range of motion problems. They have the bone shapes, no pain. It doesn't really matter if the shapes are on one side or the other. What you need to be thinking about is your muscles. So let's get back to ATM. Always think muscles. So what are we going to do when we're thinking about muscles instead of these bone shapes? Well, one really simple technique we can use for anything we're doing with our hips to try to improve our hip range of motion is to use contract relax techniques. And I've talked about this in previous videos, but we're going to go into detail a little bit more today so you understand the philosophy here. So you're going and doing some of the hip flexion tests that the doctors will run on you, and they go and they check your range of motion. They're like, oh yeah, you pinch, that means you've got the bone shapes, which scientifically is not true, but whatever. You've got the bone shapes, you've got the poor range of motion, and you're like, man, I want to think about my muscles. Good job, you're a good FAI fixer. Hopefully you're already using the FAI fix, but if you're not, here's a way you can start working on some of your flexibility. So a lot of people have issues with their hamstrings, right? You go and you go, oh gosh, it's so tight. Oh, it hurts so much. And you're thinking the reason that I can't get there is because of the bone shapes. And again, ATM, always think muscles. We're going to throw your foot up on here, right? So let's say you're here and ouch, ouch, ouch. This is so painful. What you want to think about is not that pain means damage, because pain means damage is not a useful, effective strategy. It's terrible. So think about this. Pain just means you need to pay attention. It means the muscle is being challenged in a way it's not used to being challenged, and it's trying to tell you that you gotta pay attention. So let's pay attention, and while we're here, what we're gonna do, instead of just like, oh my God, hating this, hating this, hating this, what we're gonna do is try to maintain calm, okay? We get used to feeling those sensations, recognize that you're not gonna die, and then what we're gonna use is the contract relax technique, which we talk about all the time in the program, but you're going to be pushing down using those very same uncomfortable muscles to push down into whatever surface you're using. So you're using these muscles. I'm gonna just lean forward on this to help me balance. If you want, you could use a stick or a broom, whatever, to just hold on to. The wall works. I'm using these muscles, I'm pushing down, I'm feeling those muscles work, and I'm trying to stay calm while I do it. When I'm done with the contraction, then I just sort of relax a little bit deeper into the position, still paying attention to the sensations of the muscles that I'm stretching. And I'm going to contract again. And these contractions can be like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds when you really want to make this fun. And they don't have to be super hard. So I usually tell people to start with like 20-30% of their maximum effort. And then over time, if you want to get stronger and stronger and better at these positions, you increase the intensity. But when you first start, 20-40%, 20-30%, and then you relax it and go a little bit deeper. So I'm going to show you what like 100% looks like. You can read it on your face, right? You go, still contracting, and then I'm going to try to go a little deeper. So what are we doing here? What we're doing here is teaching the muscle and our brain to talk to each other, and we're teaching them to be better coordinated and stronger in this position. So a lot of times we live our lives basically sitting in this position. The hamstrings are not used to functioning at all, basically, but definitely not in the extended position like that, and definitely not creating force to push down. So when you put it into a position when you're asking like, hey, can you do this and extend and then create force? Those hamstring muscles are going to say, heck no, we can't do that. You better be careful right now because we really have no idea what we're doing. So by working on the contractions at a lower intensity and gradually building it up, you're teaching your brain and your muscle, hey, we're good. We do this all the time. It's going to be okay. So in any stretch that you're doing, you want to be thinking about training the muscle and the brain to be working well together so that you no longer feel that threat and that crazy sensation of like, oh my God, I'm going to die. You're just going to be working to train the muscles to get stronger in the position that they feel a little scared and tentative about. It's kind of like being the parent of your hamstrings or whatever muscles you're working on. Another key thing that'll help you with this technique is to constantly think about improving the range in every single session so that you know you're making some kind of progress. You know, if you start out here and you're like, oh gosh, and then you end here, you're gonna feel pretty disheartened because you didn't really get anywhere. So I usually put in my head, I want to and I need to get at least 1 degree of extra motion to feel like I did something. And when you use the contract relax technique, you usually can. You pretty much almost always can get like 1 extra degree out of your range of motion. And just make sure you're paying attention to feeling the right muscles and feeling the right activation as you move deeper into the position. Over time, you're going to find that you can get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And you just keep working on those contractions, making sure you're checking the rest of your body so you're not cheating or twisting or whatever it is, making sure you're feeling the muscles themselves lengthening and strengthening into the positions you are asking for. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you find it helpful. You can use this technique on any stretch you're working on. If you want a program that gives you a practical, straightforward set of steps to start working on improving your own hips so that you can always think muscles and you can fix your body without somebody cutting into you and tearing out muscles and cutting out pieces and then telling you to come back in 2 more years so you can get a full hip replacement, then be sure to check out the FAI Fix. It's at thefaifix.com. You can check out the links below as well. I hope this helps you out. Whatever you're doing, even if you don't use the FAI Fix and you're just working on things yourself, please think about using this technique to get your muscles talking to your brain and moving your body again. It'll be a really useful tool to have in your toolbox as you go on the long journey towards restoring your own hip mobility. I'm Matt Hsu from Upright Health, reminding you that pain sucks, life shouldn't.